What's good, guys? And welcome to another episode of Mini Football Logic. It's Zeno here, and today we're going to be going through the four Champions League quarter-finals that occurred this Tuesday and on Wednesday. First off, let's start with Tuesday's games, of course. The two English sides remaining both played. Man City faced Real Madrid, and Arsenal Bayern Munich. You could say this is the heavy part of the draw, where the most intrigue will lay. Some of the biggest and most entertaining teams featured. And it was proven by the first leg performances. First off, let's talk about Arsenal versus Bayern Munich. It ended 2 goals each. Before this game started, everyone was saying Arsenal, well, not everyone, but Arsenal fans were pretty confident about the chances. Historically, they've always been beaten around by Bayern. They're pretty much their whipping boys in the past. Who can forget the infamous 10-2, 5-1, 5-1? But obviously this time it was different. We all know where Arsenal are and we all know where Bayern are. This is probably the worst Bayern team in the generation, and this is probably the best Arsenal team in the generation. So as we know with Arsenal fans who are very overconfident, they really had high hopes for, a reversal potentially, crushing Bayern Munich. But I guess they forgot who they were facing. Because when it comes to the Champions League, sometimes it's not just about how much in form you are. It's about how well you can handle the big moments and how much experience you have in handling those situations. And that's where pedigree becomes important. That's how Real Madrid can always find a way, regardless of how poor they might be in La Liga. Bayern Munich, of course, as we know, have been absolutely useless in the Bundesliga this season. They're getting completely destroyed by Bayer Leverkusen. And Arsenal, on the other hand, are a big part of the Premier League title race in a long time. And they're currently top of the damn league. And then when you watch the game, you realised all of that stuff does not matter. Arsenal took the lead straight, very early. Bukayo Saka, brilliant finish. And then they lost focus and they lost concentration. Counter-attack goal, very smooth, cut through like butter. That defence has been pretty much impenetrable throughout the whole season in the Premier League. And they got cut through. 1-2 pass, Goretzka through ball. Gnabry slides in against his former club. Boom, a 1-1. They make another mistake. That leads to a penalty. And then Harry Kane, you remember him? Yeah, Harry Kane. I'm sure we haven't forgotten about him and his magic. He's changed his penalty stance, which is very good because after what happened in the World Cup, it was probably necessary. And he said after the game that he knew that Raya was going to dive early based on the film that he watched from the Porto shootout. And yeah, gave him the eyes, and Raya made it easy for him. He completely threw himself one way already because, as we know, Kane loves hitting in that corner. And Kane knows that people know that he likes hitting in that corner. So he wrong footed and put it in the other side of the goal. Easy, 1, 2, 3. And then the real Bayern Munich came again. When I mean the real Bayern Munich, I mean the real 2023-2024 Bayern Munich, not the Bayern Munich of old, because Sane was completely tearing them a new one. But unfortunately, he's just come back from injury, so he had to get subbed off quite early. And then Gnabry had to then go off with an injury. Now you think, okay, they've taken off Sane and put on Coleman. Okay, they probably put on Matthias Tel. Nope, they put on Guerrero. Okay, Guerrero's fine. Okay, is Guerrero going to then play left back and David's going to play on the wing? No. That didn't happen. And then from that point onwards, I think Arsenal might have smelt blood because then they made some really good changes, putting on Jesus and Trossard. Partey came on later on, but let's be honest, he wasn't a great influence. And then Jesus, with a bit of magic, sets up Trossard, and Trossard slots it in. Another clutch goal for him. Trossard, I don't know what it is with him. 6 goals as a sub. That's ridiculous. Off the bench, I think 13 in all competitions this season. He's been outstanding. He's played his role to perfection. I can't even sit down there and deny that. He's been very clutch. For Arsenal this season, he scored a lot of crucial goals. Another one in the Champions League after the one against Porto in the last round. Let's see if he keeps on going. But damn, those changes I think costed Bayern a little bit, putting them on the back foot. We know that Tuchel's an excellent knockout coach. He's got a fantastic Champions League record, getting to the final with PSG and Chelsea. But, looking in the bigger picture, this is an excellent result for Bayern Munich and quite an underwhelming one for Arsenal. Let's just take it as that, because that is the reality of the situation. It's a result that they definitely would have wished they could have taken more out of Arsenal, because this is their chance to kind of make a mark, show people that this is not just league form, and this is us, and we're about this against one of the most decorated sides in Europe. But they weren't able to do it. So let's see in the second leg if they can do it. Now, of course, I'm not going to skip over the penalty. Bukayo Saka, I'm going to just say this and keep it nice and simple. He was throwing goal. Really and truly, Neuer was coming out. He has the ability, we all know this, to skip past Neuer and put the ball in the net. But what did he do? He stuck a leg out. Or he was slow to move his leg because he wanted to initiate contact with Neuer, and he did initiate contact with Neuer, and he fell. And he was angry. Now, he's probably angry from a mixture of anger for not getting the penalty, and also anger, probably thinking, okay, I shouldn't have risked trying to initiate contact for a penalty and should just go past Neuer and put the ball in the net, because that's what he should have done. But in these moments, it's always hard to think with such clarity. So I can't blame the boy. You're going to take your chances there. The referee took a risk. It's not a clear and obvious area. It's a 50-50, I believe, because it's not completely natural the way contact is being made. So honestly, it's up in the air. Whatever decision the referee gives is a decision that we will have to respect. And as we know, in recent years, because of VAR, which hasn't helped, it's been hard to respect the decisions of the referees, because sometimes they've got it really wrong. But this is not one of those situations where the referees got it really wrong. Now, the other quarterfinal on Tuesday, Man City versus Real Madrid. Obviously, as we know, you can't watch two flipping games at once, so my focus was mainly with the Arsenal Bayern game. But don't worry, I did my research. I watched the highlights. I watched what I could. 3-3. Okay. First off, what the hell was that game? It's a game that pretty much swung one way in Man City's favour. They took the lead, then it swung the other way because Madrid then scored 2 goals in like 3-4 minutes. And then it swung back to City's favour. And then when Madrid almost equalised and then pushed near the end. I don't know what else to really say apart from that. It was a really crazy game, end-to-end stuff. Obviously, disappointing performances from the likes of Bellingham. You expect him to come, turn up in the game like this. He had a couple of chances here and there, but he wasn't too effective. When a game ends 3-3, the defensive players are not going to be covered in glory, but I'm sure that Man City will be the happier side out of the two, because naturally they are the away team. And when Madrid, when they play home ties in Europe, you always expect them to win. And of course, Man City has been the kryptonite. Well, last season they're the ones that knocked them out. So, tough result, but I think Madrid will regret letting City back into the game after they managed to turn it around. But City will also be regretting that they wasn't able to fully control the game once they had established an advantage. It's a game that swung both ways, and a game that both teams struggled to get a grip with and control. Second leg will probably be a bit more calmer, right? Surely. Nonetheless, let's move on to Wednesday's games. PSG versus Barcelona ended 3-2 to Barcelona, to Xavi's men. Now in the first half, PSG started off pretty well, but Barcelona grew into the game. Donnarumma looked a bit dodgy, a bit vulnerable, and Rafinha scored to give them the advantage at half time. Now in the second half, very similar to the first half, PSG started really well, but this time they had something to show for it. It was Mane Dembele, against his former team, slammed home the equaliser with a ridiculously powerful finish. Matting, my guy celebrated, saw everything its peak. No regard. But here's what it is. What can you do, man? What can you do? Nonetheless, literally minutes later after they got the equaliser, Vitinha then slid home an excellently well-worked opportunity. But then minutes after that, Barcelona could have equalised themselves, but Robert Lewandowski, seasoned goal machine, mistimed his header from a sweet Lamine Yamal cross. Now, with Barca continuing to press, they got caught off guard, and Bradley Barcola, the substitute that came on at half-time, could have made it 3-1. But ter Stegen pushed it onto the bar. Felt like he was trying to replicate Dembele there with the finish and all that kind of stuff. But just when Luis Enrique's men looked to have successfully turned the game around, Barca then subbed on Pedri and João Felix. Why is this relevant? Well, one of those subs, Pedri, provided the most gorgeous pass, lifted it over the defence, straight into Rafinha's pass, and he volleyed home his second goal of the match. And then after that, it seemed like the game kind of evened out after the equaliser, with Barcola being denied by a last-ditch Araujo tackle, and Nembele hitting the post. Barca then provided another twist though, with Andreas Christensen heading home from a Gundogan corner with his first touch, another sub making the difference. Like, damn, they've really been impactful, haven't they? And it seemed like that pretty much was it. It ended 3-2, PSG once again under the bright lights of the European stage falter. They just can't help it. It's simply in their genes. Can we really see them going to Barcelona and winning the second leg? Let's be honest. Do they really have it in them? Probably not. Barcelona might just see this through, and Xavi, in what is looking to be his final season as Barcelona manager, might have to change his mind. Anyways, the second game on Wednesday was Atlético Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund. That ended 2-1. Goals from Rodrigo de Paul and Samuel Lino gave them a very early first half lead. Borussia Dortmund in that first half, I don't know what they were doing. They were horrible. Offensively and defensively and spiritually, it was just terrible. A lot of defensive errors, a lot of defensive mistakes. Both goals were due to defensive mistakes. But the keeper did redeem himself, Gregor Kobel, and he made a lot of great saves that kept them in the game. And then the second half, Dortmund started to get a bit better. Once Haller then got the goal back, Atletico Madrid seemed to slowly push away, maybe you can say sliding into their defensive tendencies under Simeone, and Dortmund continued to put the pressure on, and they hit the bar twice via a wonderful Jamie Bino Gittins strike, which was a bit deflected. And then Julian Brandt hitting the bar with a header in the dying embers. Showed you how very, very close they got to stealing a draw that they probably didn't deserve. But it's good news for Dortmund. They improved as the game went on. And then the second leg, they can hope to add on to that incline and continue that incline and to actually turn this game around. Luckily for them, it's not as far as it could have been. And maybe as far as it should have been. Because Lionel did have a big chance, for example. But Griezmann again continues to show his class for Atletico Madrid. He is that man. This is his team. He is the star attraction. Borussia Dortmund, on the other hand, they played a bit better. Maybe you could say missed some key players. But overall, they will be happy with this result because let's be honest, it could have been a lot worse. I say happy with the result, but obviously not that pleased with the performance. Edin Terzic's men will obviously go in the second leg at the Signal Iduna Park and simply hope to make an impact and to turn the game around. One thing to show is that they definitely have a chance. Nonetheless, to summarise, 4 games in the Champions League. These 4 quarterfinals have been full of goals, 18 to be exact. A very entertaining round of games, and hopefully the second leg continues to bring more drama, more entertainment, and more high quality football. Nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this Champions League quarter-final first leg roundup. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 50 subscribers. We're already 2 away. So let's go get it. Hopefully, 2 of you subscribe after watching this video. We'll wait and see, won't we? Nonetheless, hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Mini Football Logic.
Mini Logic.